Today for our company hairstyle, we're going to be doing a middle part slick back low ponytail. First, detangle the hair. Typically we would have a spray bottle to dampen the hair, but today we don't. So go ahead and part down the middle with your rat tail comb. Use the nose as a guide. Take a stronghold gel and smooth it over the top of the hair, pushing it into all of those flyaways. Then you're going to take your rat tail comb again and smooth through all of those bumps and ridges and make sure everything's just really nice and tight and smooth. Then we use the large clear rubber band ponytail holders, which we don't have today, so we actually ended up using a blue one, which is a huge no-no. So normally make sure you have those clear rubber bands. And then we're going to finish off by spraying with our Freeze It hairspray. And just really make sure you get all of those flyaways, especially the ones around the ears. They can be tricky. Next, we're going to start on her makeup by spraying her face with an aloe facial spray just to moisturize her skin. And then we're going to use a mattifying primer all over her face just to help her makeup last longer. Then I'm going to go in with a medium brown eye pencil just to fill in any of the sparse areas of her brows. Just follow the natural shape. You're not really creating a whole new shape. You just want to fill in those areas that don't have as much hair so it looks like a full brow. Next, we're going to take our concealer and I'm going to place that all over her eyelids so that we can create a clean matte base for the eyeshadow. Now I'm going to take a small stippling brush and I'm just going to buff that out on her eyelids. You can use your beauty blender for this, but I just prefer the brush. Then I'm going to take our Wet n Wild pressed powder in the lightest shade and just use our damp beauty blender to put that all over the eye and set that concealer. Next, we're going to take our Morphe Brunch Babe eyeshadow palette and we're going to use the lightest transition shade and just buff that into the crease with a large fluffy blending brush. Then we're going to take a smaller blending brush and we're going to buff that into the crease as well, but just focusing a little bit lower this time. Always start your product on the outer corner and blend it inward. Then we're going to take the two darkest shades in the palette and focus those on the outer corner for the most part, and then just slightly buff it inwards towards the center, but don't bring it all the way into the inner corner. Now I'm just deepening up that crease a little bit. I felt like it wasn't quite dark enough, so I'm adding a little bit more of that dark shadow on the very outer corner. Next, I'm taking a flat packing brush and getting it wet with that aloe spray we used in the beginning. And then I am putting that all over her lid. And this shadow definitely applies better either with your finger or a wet packing brush. Next, I'm taking a felt tip eyeliner pen. I think these are so much easier to use, especially for little ones. And you are just going to create a fine line on top of the lid and wing it out just slightly, but not anything crazy. And this is just going to be enough so that when we put our lashes on, you don't see the lash band. I'm just wiping away the excess eyeshadow. That's why I like to do the eyeshadow first, so that I can wipe away anything that falls out. Now we're using the Maybelline Fit Me Ultra Matte Poreless Foundation. And this is a little bit darker than her natural skin tone, but that's okay because we drag it down her neck and we put it on her ears because those stage lights will wash you out pretty bad. So having a foundation one shade darker than your skin isn't bad. But I don't recommend this for any like typical makeup wear. Next, I'm taking that same concealer I used on her eyelids and I'm putting it right under her eyes, creating kind of an upside down triangle down the bridge of her nose, up above her cupid's bow on her chin, and just the high point of her forehead. I'm gonna blend that out with my Morphe sponge. Now I'm going to take that same powder that I set her eyelids with and set everywhere that I used concealer with our wet sponge. And then I'm going to take a large fluffy brush and use that same powder and just dust it over the rest of the face to set her foundation. You always want to set your foundation or it will slide off. It's not going to stay without having something matte over it. Now I'm taking bronzer and just putting that on the outer perimeters of her face, her cheekbones, her forehead, her chin, jawline. Now I'm taking another bronzer that's a little bit deeper just to kind of darken that up because I didn't feel like it was dark enough. Again, it's okay if this is a little bit harsher because those stage lights always wash your face out. Now I'm taking a white shimmer shade and just putting that on her inner corner and down the bridge of her nose and her cupid's bow, just to kind of soften up her nose. Now I'm taking that same light transition shade underneath her eyes, and then we're going to go in with our deepest shade and focus it mostly on the outer corner with a pencil brush and just bring it slightly inward. Don't go past the center of the eye. If you go all the way in, it's going to make your child's eye look way too closed off and dark. Now I'm taking our e.l.f. blush palette and just adding a little bit of color to the apples of the cheeks, blending it back into our bronzer. Now I'm taking a waterproof mascara. And whenever I do this, I typically do it after I get the lashes on, but I cut that part of the video out because it was fuzzy and it didn't turn out right. So I always put our lashes on first and then I'll go in with the waterproof mascara, and I always put my finger behind the lashes so that if any mascara gets anywhere, it's going to be on the back of my finger and it's not going to be on the eyeshadow. And then we're going to set her face with a mattifying setting spray. And then to finish her off, we're going to add our Morphe liquid lipstick in the shade Bloodshot. And as far as the lashes go, applying the lashes, whenever we do that, always let your eyelash glue get a little tacky before you place it on the lash line. And as long as you do that, you should be good and have no issues. And this is our finished look.